Hey, what's up guys? Disciple here once again, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of the mechanics in the game that are going to be important to know before you get started playing, if you're going to be in the stress test this weekend, or in the open beta coming on May 3rd if you pre-ordered, or May 5th if you didn't. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about spread and what it means, since it can be a little unclear especially for people who haven't played FPS games or other shooters before. Now, the first time I really had to think about spread was when I heard that Reaper was a good counter for tanks, and I hadn't played much Reaper, and I wasn't sure why exactly Reaper was very good against tank characters, but it all has to do with the spread of the guns. And what spread refers to is the radius that your bullets will spread, of course, away from the tip of your guns. So someone like Widowmaker has absolutely zero spread when she's sniping. It's just a straight line that comes out of her gun. It uses a hit scan technique to determine the location of the target and the location that she's aiming and line them up, and there is zero spread. However, someone with a shotgun, like Reaper, will have very high spread. You can see my bullets spreading around there, and if I shoot at someone from a very far range, I won't do that much damage because a lot of the bullets fly off wildly. You can see right here, there are some little targets, and so when I go up close, I can actually go in there and pretty much just hit the one in the middle. However, if I back up here, you can see that my bullets are hitting quite a few of them, but not really hard enough to even spin them around. If I go all the way back out here, it's really just tickling them. However, if you're up very close to someone, then your spread isn't too wide, and your bullets do a lot of damage individually when they're all combined. This makes Reaper exceptionally good against tank characters, because if he gets up close to them and puts his guns into them, every single bullet will connect, and it can do amazingly well. This is also why he can one-shot pretty much any character in the game with a headshot. I'll go ahead and do it on a non-moving target so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see, but if he does put his shotgun right up, he will get a complete one-shot, because every single one of those bullets is going to be multiplied by 2 for the headshot bonus. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to swap off of Reaper, and I'm going to show you guys some of the other characters who are typically very good against characters with large character models, because you're going to be able to plug a lot of shots into them. And the obvious ones are going to be Reaper and Roadhog, since they use shotgun-like mechanics, but also a couple of others that might be a little bit odd to you are going to be people with large spread on their weapons, or with large radiuses like Pharah or Junkrat, or someone with an ability that does a high amount of damage but that is pretty inaccurate, like McCree. Diva is another character with a gun with high spread. I'll go ahead and show you guys there. You can see the spread is pretty wide, but if you go up close, you can plug all of your machine guns into a certain target. And if you take someone like McCree, who has his right click, if I'm out of range, the right click may be very difficult to land on someone unless you aim very well, but if you go up close, it is very easy to land your right click into someone. And it becomes much easier when they have a larger character model, so someone like a Roadhog or a Winston, you're going to be able to hit them with your right click almost 100% of the time as long as you're within a decent range. However, someone like a Tracer might be much more difficult, especially if they're moving around. And this makes somewhat... I would say that McCree's right click has a bit of a spread on it, because even though you can control it and really limit the radius, it still is fairly inaccurate, especially when compared to someone else. If you take a look at Widowmaker, it doesn't matter how far away I am, there is absolutely no deviation from the line. Also, if you take a look at someone like Genji, even though he is throwing projectiles, they're all going to go at exactly the same place. Now, we've talked about attacks that will go in a straight line, that are good at a long range over taking out single targets with low health because they are very reliable, and Widowmaker is a very good example of this with her scoped-in rifle. We talked about attacks that are good at short range because of their wide spread and great at taking out tanks and large targets like Reaper shotguns, but there's also the type that will begin in a straight line but spread over time. An example of this is Soldier 76, but also Widowmaker's rifle when she's using the machine gun, Bastion's rifle as well, or Tracer's guns. These will all spread over time. So you can see if I go up right here and I'm at a medium range, every single bullet that I shoot is going to hit this target dummy. However, if I back up And you can see a little bit here that my bullets are beginning to spread around. And I'm going to show you guys that even though my reticule stays in exactly the same spot, that not all of my bullets are actually hitting him. And even though I still hit him fairly consistently, there were a few that missed. I'm going to show you guys maybe a little bit better here on these. But if I stay up close, my bullets actually begin to spread and begin hitting the other targets, even though I'm keeping my gun in exactly the same spot. And so what this means is that if you are shooting at a single target and holding down your gun, and it's beginning to spread so wildly that you miss, it's actually going to be a little bit better to stop and then begin shooting again. And just make sure that a majority of your targets are hitting, as opposed to just trying to shoot as many targets at your target as possible and miss quite a few of them. And so this kind of divides the heroes into those that are good at long range, at medium range, and at short range. And it's pretty interesting, so that if you have a lot of tanks that you need to go up against, then it's great to take someone like Reaper or Roadhog. If you have targets that need to be taken out in a single shot or need to be taken out at a long range, Pharah is a great example of this. Then you want someone who can deal damage pretty reliably, so Widowmaker is really great against Pharah, but so is someone like McCree, who can just use his left click to snipe Pharah out of the air fairly effectively. And so using this knowledge of the spread and how you can use it to your advantage can really help in your hero picks when you get into the open beta, or when you get into the game when it's released on May 24th. Thanks you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys later. Peace.